All right, we have a simple move out cleaning, 2 rooms and a flight of stairs. That's it. I think it's a 6 out of 10. Tell me what you think. doesn't want to do this one. not that much. Not that much at all.
So usually how long does it take it to dry before you can walk on it?
You can walk on it immediately, but to dry, I mean, that pile is so thin, it'll probably take a couple hours. It's not going to take that long. That's some pretty thin carpet.
Yeah. Okay. Take pictures. I got quite a bit of next stuff in there.
They wouldn't be doing it tonight, would they? I mean, it'll definitely be dry by tomorrow.
Yeah. Tomorrow night the earliest.
Yeah, it'll be
I don't
plenty
think
dry.
they can do it by then.
Oh, okay. I need some new gloves. It's falling off the bone. Oh, wait, that's long enough to fit. Hold it on. Oh, snaps. Okay. What did you say, dude? Oh crap, I didn't see this. Secret compartment closet.
So we got a small issue.
What's up?
My neighbor came home. He needs it in his garage.
See. This is a lot of.
I was hoping he was already home. I wasn't never sure.
I was doing so good, now I'm pissed off. This is. Wait. He might have let me stay. Is he gonna let me stay?
Yeah.
All right.
Let's see. He's gonna be leaving in an hour anyway.
Okay. Tell him thank you.
So it all worked out.
All right. Thanks. I don't even know how much propane I have. Yeah, about half. Oh boy. Whee. This thing is dirty. Oh, no, come on. Come on now, don't do that to me. There we go. I'm going to do the stairs last. What's going on, beautiful people? Listen, what time is it? It is 7:22 p.m. I'll try to make this as brief as possible, which will probably still turn into 30 minutes. But anyway, I just wanted to give you guys an update on what's going on with me. Anyone that's been watching my content has seen that, I like to, show the jobs that I have, and then, I'll go into something related to, my life, just to give you more insight as to who I am, and, what I do, and some of the places I've been, some of the things I've done, with my journey, on being an entrepreneur. But this last weekend, man, I had a very, very tough trial. I will say a tough trial that really tested me, and I think caused me to grow. Long story short, I accidentally deleted all of my videos and my photos, my personal archive, going back from present time all the way back to 2013, and that really gutted me. I was pretty jacked up. I mean, I got so angry and upset and frustrated that I almost deleted this channel, man. I made a video about it when it happened. I'll probably release that in a few days. I still need some time. I'm still dealing with that. It was traumatizing for me. This might not even resonate with some people. Some people might think I'm crazy, but I mean, my footage that I've captured over the years, I put a lot of work into everything that I've captured. And when I did it, I didn't have an end goal. I just knew that I would want to see it if nobody else did. I would want to see it. I wanted to share it with my family and my kids, as I grow older. But yeah, it's all gone. It's all gone. I accidentally deleted it. It's not in the recently deleted. It is gone. Yeah, it gets me pretty emotional because I mean, all my family vacations, family photos, my kids when they were younger, my parents, my siblings, their children, all the stuff. I am just always recording something, and a lot of the stuff that I would include on this second part of the videos, I would get out of that archive, and so now I don't have anything to include it. So from now on, one thing that I did save was a vacation that my family and we went to Jamaica, which I'll probably put that on a video at some point. And the only reason that saved is because I saved it to this channel, and I just made it private, and I sent all my family members a link to it so that they could see it. So I'll have to download a copy off of YouTube and then transfer it so that I can, add it on the tail end of one of my jobs, as the bonus footage. But that's pretty much all I have. Everything else I had is gone. So yeah, on the day that it happened, when I was filming the job, I'm sure you'll be able to tell I was feeling some type of way. I did not feel like working, but got to keep money coming in. So I did the jobs, and after the job, I felt better, and the lesson I got out of all of it is, nothing in this life is permanent. Everything is temporary. Everything that we have, from our health, our money, our family, it's all a trust, and it's given to us, and it will be taken from us at some point. So that's the lesson I got from it. Yeah, man, it just jacked me up. So I just want to share that with you guys. But so glad I didn't fall into my habit of crashing out and just making things worse, doing, making rash decisions, because I worked really hard on what I have 500 something subscribers. I've worked my butt off to get these little 500 subscribers I have. I appreciate you guys. And, if the number stays at that number, I'm cool with that, because I enjoyed doing it. And you guys have been opening up and starting to communicate with me. So that's pretty cool. I enjoy communicating with you guys. Um, so the other objective I had with this video is one of the subscribers asked me about some insight about cleaning carpet. Um, First of all, I wish they made it mandatory that you have to like add your name because I don't even know who I'll be talking to. I'm assuming you're male, but these days, you never know. So it would be nice to know, you guys' names. Maybe sometime if you feel up to it, you can add your name in the comment. If it's, because it'd be like I'd be going back and forth and sending crying out loud, crying, laughing emojis to BB King James 340. I don't even know who you are, but yeah, let me know what your name is or something, man. But anyway, if I remember correctly, I think in the comment you said you've been doing construction and you were thinking about the possibility of transitioning into carpet cleaning. You had asked if it's lucrative. Yes, it is definitely lucrative. But like with any company, I would say that the gap between those that are really eating or those that are really successful and those that are struggling is widening, and that's because of technology. Back in the day, all you had to do was throw an ad in the yellow pages or local listing, and you had somewhat of a chance. But now everything is online based, and so you pretty much have to know how to play the game if you want a shot, and if you don't, if you put your head in the sand and rely on tactics that worked in the past, you won't make it. And so whether it's carpet cleaning or whatever service related and whatever business period, you have to understand this new landscape, and it comes down to uh, dialing in your marketing, having effective messaging and just being creative, and so those are things that I excel at. And so that is one of the reasons I've been able to, build companies pretty quickly. I started my moving company in 2014 and started from zero, and I was able to build that up to $1 million company in 3 years, which I was pretty proud of that. But it got to the point to where it was unsustainable for me, and so I had to let it go. But while I was doing moving, I also did carpet cleaning on the side. It was more, I wasn't doing it full time. I did it part time. And so when it was time for me to figure out what the heck I'm going to do now that I'm not in charge of all these people and bringing all this revenue in, I said, it was a natural progression for me to just transition into the carpet cleaning because I can work by myself. I don't need to rely on a team. Although I think in the next couple of years, I probably am going to look at maybe bringing on an employee or two, because there's just so many things that I want to do, business wise, that I can't do because there's not enough time in the day. I do my jobs from like 9 to 5, usually 7 days a week, and just everything else that I do, I'm having to do in the evening. A lot of times I don't. I make these videos about going to sleep, but I don't get much sleep. A lot of times I don't go to sleep till about 3 in the morning. Uh, Lately, I've been going to sleep a lot earlier because, Ramadan started, and I have to wake up at 5 to eat a meal so that I can have some type of nourishment coursing through my veins, during the day. So I've been going to sleep closer like midnight. But in regular times, I go to bed about 3, wake up about 7. You know, and that's just because there's so many things that I'm working on that I have to put in those hours because I'm cleaning carpet during the day, and it's a lot. It's a lot. But okay, for you, if you want to do this, I would recommend that you take your time and you ease into it, to make sure it's something that you actually want to do. You know, I don't know your situation with the contracting. I'm assuming that's taking care of your living expenses. So I would keep doing that. And invest a small amount of money into a minimal setup. And when I say minimal, I would say either a portable machine or a VLM machine, very low moisture. And I don't do a lot of very low moisture, but I know that gentleman on YouTube, was named Tommy, I believe, with Green Rhino. He has like some courses. You probably sign up with one of his courses. He'll get you right, on some training. Um, you have any questions about using a portable? I'm your guy for that. I drugged that thing around for 10 years, man. Um, but I would say that keep your outlays to a minimum, and just really make sure this is something you want to do, because it's a lot of work. It's very physical. Again, I don't know how old you are. I don't know your physical condition, but again, I'm assuming with construction that you would have the physical ability to do it. But even having the ability to do it, you just mentally, it's a lot. To do this every day, multiple times a day. It takes a certain mindset. So that's just something that shouldn't be taken lightly. It's so easy to get sometimes drunk with the idea of starting something new. It seems shiny. You see all this possibility in revenue, and then you in the middle of it dragging this 100-pound box up and down some steps, or you don't even have to do that. You can get a longer hose, which I never did. There's some other people on YouTube that have longer hose runs with their portables, so you don't necessarily have to drag it up and down the steps. But still, just getting it in and out of your vehicle it's a lot. Filling it with the buckets of water. Um, it's a lot. I can't stress that. But yeah, as far as how lucrative it is, it's very lucrative. You can make anywhere from $100 to $300 an hour. I usually hover in between the 150 to $200 an hour range. Um, what did my wife? Sorry, it's been a long. Okay, I got distracted. I got a message on my phone, but yeah, it's very lucrative. But I mean, my marketing. I work on my marketing every day, and a lot of people don't. So that's one of my competitive advantages. It's just you're not going to outmarket me. As far as my ability, my carpet cleaning ability. There's people that are way, more technical, way more skilled than I am. I that doesn't bother me. On a 0 to 10, I probably rate myself a 7. My ability to clean carpet, but on marketing, I put myself about 8 or 9. And a lot of people might have a 10 on their carpet cleaning, but their marketing is a 3 or 4. So I'd rather be a ninja with my marketing and be above average with my carpet cleaning. So if you do decide to do it, you just have to go all in on your marketing plan, have a comprehensive plan. You have to be ready to spend some money on some advertising. I mean, you don't have to, but if you really want to level up quickly and replace your income, it's more challenging if you're not spending any money. And even if you spend money, you have to know how to do it right, or you just be blowing a lot of money. And I've spent hundreds of thousands of dollars over the years in advertising. So I've learned through the school of hard knocks and what works and what doesn't. Uh, Again, I have so many assumptions that I have to make. I'm assuming you live in a densely populated area. You need demand for it to be, profitable. You can have the best marketing, but if you stay in a super rural area, where there's not a lot of potential customers, that's going to limit what you can do. So hopefully you're in a, major city. If you are, you can really make some good money, doing this. So um, again, just to recap, if you do decide to do it, get you some type of training. Um, there's different people that sell training on it. I'd be willing to, help you. I can't train you, but I mean, if you have questions about, a job or something, you can ask me. What else? Keep your expenses low, your overhead low, stay lean, operate lean, and work on your marketing as much as you can every day if possible. Your name needs to be something that resonates with people. When I was trying to come up with ideas, I knew that it was very competitive, and so I wanted to stand out. And so, obviously, since I was in the military, I came up with this name, and this name has been one of the reasons why, I'm successful, because most of my customers have some type of connection to the military. Either they serve themselves, or their children serve, or their parents served, or they just really have a appreciation for, military service. So that's one of the reasons why I stay so busy. Then another reason is why, because I have a really good, reputation. I think as of today I have like 558 reviews on Google, and that's because I am proactive in getting the reviews. I ask my customers for them. If you don't, they won't leave them. Obviously you have to do good work and make them want to leave it for you. So that's one of the reasons I try to really connect with people on a human level, and talk to them, and make them feel good. Because if you make people feel good, that goes a long way, and it can really, trump your ability. Um, Interesting choice of words. It can really, it goes a long way. All right. So, man, I said a lot of stuff, and if you need anything else, you know how to reach me, man. All right. So I'm gonna try to finish this video for today, and hopefully I'll be done by midnight, man. All right. Y'all be blessed.